Hello students! Welcome to today's lesson, where we will explore an engaging and vital part of geometry, understanding and classifying various two-dimensional shapes. We've covered a lot of information about triangles, so now let's move on to more complex shapes. Today we will be focusing on understanding and classifying the different types of quadrilaterals. All the shapes we will discuss are part of the quadrilateral family, meaning they all have four sides. First, let's start by looking at squares. The first key property of a square is that all four sides are of equal length. Second, all four angles are right angles, 90 degrees. A square is really just a special type of rectangle where all sides are equal. Now let's move on to rectangles. The first key property of a rectangle is that opposite sides are equal in length. Secondly, like a square, all four angles are right angles, 90 degrees. A square is really just a special type of rectangle where all sides are equal. But what is a parallelogram? Let's find out. As the name might suggest, the opposite side of parallelograms are parallel. They are also equal in length. As a result, the opposite angles are also equal. We will now look at trapeziums, which are also known as trapezoids in some countries. The key property of a trapezium is only one pair of opposite sides is parallel. The non-parallel sides are called the legs, and the parallel sides are the bases. Now let's look at some special cases of the shapes we have identified. All four sides of a rhombus, or rhombi for plural, are equal length, much like a square. Similarly, opposite sides are parallel, and opposite angles are equal. A rhombus is therefore a special type of parallelogram where all sides are of equal length. Now we are going to look at the key properties of a kite. The word kite might remind you of the thing you fly on a windy day in the park. You wouldn't be wrong, the shape is essentially the same. A kite has two pairs of adjacent sides of equal length. It also has one pair of opposite angles that are equal, often referred to as the vertex angles. A special property of a kite is that it has an axis of symmetry along the line connecting the vertex angles. To classify any quadrilateral, follow these three simple steps. Firstly, check the sides. Are they equal or parallel? Secondly, check the angles. Are they 90 degrees? Thirdly, check the symmetry and parallelism. Identify if the shape has symmetry or parallel sides. With a bit of revision, and these are the three steps, you will soon be able to identify any quadrilateral. Here are all the shapes we have categorized today. Can you remember their names? Visualizing these shapes will help you differentiate between their properties. Here are the key takeaways. For a square, all sides are equal and all angles are 90 degrees. For a rectangle, opposite sides are equal and all angles are 90 degrees. For a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal and parallel, and opposite angles are equal. A trapezium has one pair of opposite sides are parallel. In a rhombus, all sides are equal, opposite sides are parallel, and opposite angles are equal. Finally, a kite has two equal pairs of adjacent sides and one pair of equal opposite angles. If you feel overwhelmed by the vocabulary and properties, don't worry. Practice sketching these shapes and revisiting their definitions regularly. Over time, you will become more comfortable identifying and classifying each type of quadrilateral. That concludes the main part of our lesson. Let's now move on to some examples and exercises to solidify your understanding. Imagine we know the following about a mystery quadrilateral. Firstly, that the opposite sides are equal in length. Secondly, all four angles are right angles. Pause the video and see if you can classify this shape yourself. This shape is a rectangle. Remember that only the opposite sides of a rectangle are of equal length, whereas all four sides of a square are equal. Let's try another case. This time our mystery quadrilateral has the following properties. Firstly, all sides are of equal length. Secondly, its opposite sides are parallel. Thirdly, its some of the angles are different. To classify this, let's first check the sides. All sides are of equal length, so it could be a square or a rhombus. Opposite sides are parallel. Again, this could still be a square or a rhombus. Onto the angles, some of the angles are different. Here, we can eliminate the option of a square, because all angles are 90 degrees in a square. Therefore, this quadrilateral is a rhombus. By working through more examples like these, you'll become more comfortable identifying and classifying different types of quadrilaterals based on their properties. Keep practicing, and soon this will become second nature. In today's lesson, we focused on understanding and classifying different types of quadrilaterals, which are foundational shapes in geometry. We emphasized the importance of visualizing these shapes to better understand their properties. We also discussed how regular practice in sketching and identifying these shapes will make you more comfortable with their classification. With these concepts in mind, you're now equipped to identify and classify various quadrilaterals, laying the groundwork for future modules in this section.